All right, Jeremy here, Parts Breakers, Jeeps Unlimited, partsbreakers.com, 303-666-9020. Oh, what a day. Had a nice 50-degree December 2023 day, and that's nice to have because it's been a little chilly lately. We've been able to wash stuff in the winter. So, without further ado, let's start off with the basics. It is a 2003 to 2006 six-cylinder frame that will work, meaning that it will bolt on to a 97 to 02 six-cylinder, okay? I have a video of the two next to each other explaining exactly what's different, which not a lot, but there is a little bit. The body mounts are all the same. There's no welding or cutting or grinding or anything of that stuff, okay? I say that because 9702 frames have been extremely difficult to get, and they're demanding a premium right now. I will have one shortly. They're doing the full teardown out there, so we'll have that done, hopefully maybe listed if we have the time tonight. Otherwise, this bad boy is available. And these are a little bit thicker frames, so I actually prefer these over the other ones. But again, just to make sure you're on the same page, make sure you check out that video. It's on our YouTube channel, and it's basically titled 1997 versus 2003 Wrangler TJ frame comparison, okay? So without further ado, let's go over the basics on it. I'm not gonna point it out if it's good, just a waste of time. You can see that for yourself. Part of the reason I do these videos so you can see it is if you were standing here next to me in person. Been doing these for 18 years, a long time. And on top of that, let's see a little bit about us. This is the yard, okay? 7 acres. We're in the high mountain desert. We don't use salt on the roads. But with that said, I won't even buy them wrecked. Oh, look at that. Call myself a liar. Boom, wrecked. That's a wrecked one right there. That's a YJ. It was a rollover, okay? This was a local guy. I'm not going to go into too many details, but sometimes people go, well, what about the one in the background wrecked? Well, by and large, these all come under their own power. And we do that for a few reasons. That thing there is so wrecked so bad, it was rolled so hard so many times that it actually bent the frame and the tub. It still ran and drove, but it didn't drive straight. And so it was a local guy, and he had been selling him parts for years, and he ended up buying another Jeep. So we gave him some credit and took this one off his hands, and we were able to get some parts we needed out of it anyway, the harnesses and stuff like that. So, but for the most part, these come in, like I said, under their own power and straight and all that. So we do still measure them. It's important to still measure frames. The reason is because you don't know, even if it looks good now, where's this Jeep been? We do it for a few reasons. And I mean this in a way that, so in addition to, I'll give you the basics, okay? And I'm getting a little chilly, and been a long day, a lot of phone calls. So the 3 things we check for once a frame is completely taken down to this point, okay? We hit it with the Hotsy, about 4,500 PSI and about 300 degrees. And that just takes off anything loose if there were to be anything loose on it. These frames, as you can see them, this black paint, this is all factory black paint from the original assembly line or whatever they use in this process. So it's in pretty dang good shape. There's a couple spots that the paint has come off, yellow oxidized metal, but there is absolutely no scaling on this frame, inside or outside. So to prove that, we do a full scope of all the rails from the front all the way back to the back, and the back all the way back to the front. There's plenty of little clean out holes that you can get into and put a camera down, okay? This one's great on the inside just as it is on the outside. In addition to that, we do the measurements. We have a jig. We actually can set this in and it squares it up, okay? There's a tolerance there, and there's a, where it gets too bad, you can tell something's been hit, okay? If they've done that, you can probably see right there, I literally cut them up. There's very rare though I cut a frame, but in the case it's bent, that's where they go. The only exception to that is there's an LJ frame back here, and they're so hard to get, and it's got a little tweak in it, so that one's just discounted heavily. But by and large, we do not sell frames that are at all tweaked whatsoever. We want you to be able to bolt it on and go, and not have to try to twist the tub or whatnot on it, okay? And then the third thing we do is a Carfax when we buy the Jeep, because this kind of goes back to the whole, we don't know, there's 2 things we're checking. We're checking A, that it's been in the West its entire life, and West meaning Colorado over to California. It hopefully hasn't lived in any coastal towns, because even coastal California can find rust. Oregon, coastal, I was just up there, blew me away how rusty it was up there in that area. So because most of Oregon has actually got pretty nice stuff. So, but anyway, we check that on it. We won't even touch a Jeep if it comes in rusty, or at least not go after that stuff. If there was a harness, and we have done that before, where we buy them out of the East Coast and go after one of the rare harnesses that is in like let's say a YJ or something. The harnesses are in great shape. Nothing else is, but that's all you get out of them, so you got to buy them right. But anyway, so back to that. So that's another thing we do, and that tells us, if it's ever been hit, minor things, major things. You can usually pull up pictures, especially in today's day, if it's been in an accident, and see exactly what it was involved in. If it was a fender bender, okay, but something that was taken down to it. So anyway, that's kind of what we go through on this guy. So I've been showing you as I'm going through. Let's just start with the frame rails and go down. You got your steering box here. This is one of the areas that's different on the 9702 to 0306. So again, check that video out. Nice square round tube on it. It's got a little ding on the front of that guy. When I flip it over, I'll show you that here in a second. But rails are nice and clean, and it's a little hard to see in here, but I'll get in the best I can. Maybe not. Let's see. Can we get in there? Yeah, look at that. Okay. So control arm mounts, those things love to pinch, especially the pinch welds. Nice and clean. Okay, even this, look at that. Those are almost always have scale buildup. If not even from the frame, at least from the belly pan, and those are absolutely stunning, beautiful. Okay, nice clean holes. Okay, and if you're wondering what those holes are for, they did those in the 03 to 06s. You get an extra belly pan. It's basically a transfer, or a, let's see, what protects. This would be more up into your engine, lower like oil pan slash bottom of your tranny pan. So that's kind of a cool thing. If you do have an early one and you are upgrading to this frame, you get a little bit more coverage on that note, and it's all nut certed in, so you don't have to worry about tapping into your frame. Okay, coil buckets. Normally, these are another area. This subframe area above your gas tank, and then these coil buckets, top and bottom, they love to rust out. So this has definitely got a little surface on it. There's not much taken there. You can see a little bit of layering at the very top. You can see the fresh metal there. And really, when this happens, this needs to be wired down or sandblasted, depending on what you're doing, and then just get it treated, either a rust inhibitor or powder coat, whatever you're doing. But you don't want it to get much further, because as you can start seeing, you start losing layers here, and then all of a sudden you start seeing holes. So this one's actually nice and clean. This is still fairly smooth. This is a little rough through here, but nothing a wire brush won't fix on that note. So same thing, you get a little bit through here, but I've seen frames, and this is always the area because it's trapped up underneath your gas tank skid, and these love to rust out here. And then on TJs, for whatever reason, this is another area, these back horns here on both sides, these love to rust out. So we got nice smooth on both sides, top and bottom on both of these guys, and that scope showed us that too. So, okay, so that's basically that frame. I'm gonna flip it over and show you the top. A couple little things on it. This guy had welded a bumper slash two bumper slash hitch on it, and you can see actually where the hitch, he had done this. So we were gonna take you can see this is actually not into the cross member. It's all attached on the outside. So a couple things you can do. You can replace the whole thing if you don't want to monkey with any of that. Or what I would do is just take a nice big grinder wheel and just zip that smooth. Same thing on here. So they didn't cut into it at all. They just welded on the surface of it, but something definitely you'd want to clean up. Surprisingly, this is actually all hidden with a bumper that bolts on. So if you don't want to mess with it, just leave it alone. You can do that too. Both holes, I always like to show these guys, because people always, oh, it's no big deal, you got a broken hole. Sometimes it happens, and we have it too, trust me. Even these guys, okay? And these, look at that, they put the bolts back in them, okay, both sides. So, and I show you that for a few reasons. One, those are common to break. Those are clean, both of them, all set, okay? But two, when people give you that, oh, they're easy to extract, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's a pain in the ass. So we always knock it down on price if you have to do anything further than just either, if you're gonna sandblast, that's on you, but furthermore, okay? So nice clean threads. Again, you can even see the machine on that, okay? And likewise through there, and yada, yada, yada. So that's that one. So let me flip this guy real quick here. So I can keep it on. Probably making you sick, sorry. hopefully you're not upside down now. If you are, I screwed the boot. So, okay. This is where I cleaned all this, but we flipped it and then it sprayed back on it. So, but that's nice and clean. Even the top of the oil buckets, same thing on the bottom. Okay, just get them treated. Either blast it if you want, wire wheel them, but regardless, get them. Whether you pour 15 in or, and I went out to Pennsylvania recently, and Pennsylvania people are like, oh yeah, of course, when I say what I'm about to say, but I thought it was like an old wives' tale about putting oil on the frames, like brand new vehicles. They have this stuff, what is that stuff called? I don't know, really cool customer, big drum. They get a brand new vehicle and they literally just take it right in. So photos showed up better than that, but anyway, it's dirty. That sucks. I spent a lot of time washing them, but it is what it is. Okay, and there's where that little paint's there, flaked off. So you got, can't even really see it, but there is about the quarter size right around there. Okay, all the mounts, nice and clean. Those oftentimes are rubber bushing that sits up there, get worn out. And call coming in, so I can run, but okay, all those are good. Hey man. So far, no call back, so I'm just waiting on calls. Hang on one second for me. No, I haven't used your trailer yet. Matter of fact, let me shout with you a little bit later because I got a video rolling in the background. Thanks, man. Okay. All right, so 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. That's going to do it for this guy. Scoot it over, take stop photos, get this thing put back, and go from there. All right, appreciate your time. Have a good night and Merry Christmas.